So this whole FaZe Clan drama has gone to a point to where people are actually wanting both sides to shut the fuck up. And that is never something you want, especially when one side is trying to expose the other. But you guys should know by now that ex-FaZe members Rain and Temper have been going back and forth about an incident that happened back in 2019 where Temper had a threesome with two 16-year-olds he met at a 21 and older club while he was in his late 20s. Now he apparently didn't know their age until after he tamed their strange, but if you were to ask Rain Man about any of this, he would tell you that Temper knew these girls since they were born. He was the doctor delivering them and is now delivering himself. However, later that same day, he took back what he said and was like, he's actually not a pedophile and just made a mistake. And everyone was like, okay, that's not how fixing the problem works, but sure, we'll humor you. And it seemed as if everything was settled. But then after Temper tweets out this sarcastic apology being like, thanks for ruining my life, I guess, that's when Rain Man took whatever pills he could find and was like, you picked the wrong motherfucker today. And he has now gone on this anti-FaZe Temper rant that is fueled by 99% emotion and 1% logic. Like, he has already told us that we should never call someone a pedophile for the mistakes they made. He even says himself that there is no room for pedophiles in this world, but there is for people who get tricked by a girl while at a club.
We all agree there's no room for pedophiles in our world, but there is room for somebody that had no fucking idea and they were lucky from a girl who snuck into a club that was 21 plus.
And that was just 2 days ago, since that video was released. Like I said, he is making sure that he gets out as much information as possible, regardless if it even helps his case or not, just so when Temper eventually does respond, it's going to have to be to one of the million things this guy manages to say. But honestly, at this point, if I was Temper, I would just not say anything and let this guy go on his little rant, because like I said also, the people outside of the ones who watch his stream are already done with this. You exposed him, we made fun of him, he got fired from FaZe, and he still expects more to happen. And this next clip I'm about to go over shows you why that is never going to happen, no matter how much this guy wants to end this argument by getting his ex-best friend arrested. But basically, he went on stream last night and was like, I got all the evidence that's going to expose this guy even more than if he was actually naked. And at first he shows us this DM from October 2024, where he was asking this person if the guy they were talking about is someone from FaZe Clan, seeing as the person had also had a threesome with two 16-year-olds. Spoilers, he's like, it is the same person. But then after that, the guy he's talking to says,
the only piece of information I'll give you now is he's lying through his teeth when he said he didn't know. But there's so much more and I have proof of a lot of it.
And he never responds and just moves on to the next screenshot. But now he's showing us what someone said under his video, and this is where his emotions start to take over instead of actually taking the time to process what he's reading. Because as you can see, apparently this guy knew the two girls he was talking about in high school and was like, we used to make fun of that girl in the 9th grade.
This guy responded under my tweet and I had conversation. This is the guy that gave me the school name. He went to school with these girls. This guy gave me their names. I have everything.
Kind of fucking weird that some random dude gave you all their information without asking the girls first. Like, I'm sure they heard about this getting out and would have been more than willing to come on stream with you and continue to expose this further. But you're about to see why that's most likely not gonna happen. And if it does, it's not gonna look good for the girls, contrary to what Rain Man believes.
I went to the same high school as the girl. I remember her posting stories with him in the club at NYC. My friends and I all flamed him in our group chats because we knew she was in the 9th grade, which is crazy. I hope she's not in the 9th grade. She posted the sunrise at 6 a.m. next day from his penthouse view.
Again, kind of weird that he remembers that specific detail. Seems like this guy was stalking her if he knew the exact time she was posting sunrise pics. But this next screenshot is where his whole pedophile argument comes crashing down. So this is now a screenshot of a text this guy replying posted where him and his friends are talking about the two girls who got with Temper.
Yo, wasn't this the motherfucker chilling with that one blonde girl from our high school when she was like 16 or 17? Forgot her name. If this isn't about her, then he's been getting duped by these underage girls for a minute now. I remember, yo, it's definitely about her, LMAO. Obviously, these guys are just kids and they don't understand the magnitude of this situation because, you know, they're still young.
And you're an adult and you don't understand the situation in general. He literally ignored the part where they said, if this isn't about her, then he's been getting duped by these underage girls for a minute now. And if you guys don't know what the word duped means, it means you got played, fooled, tricked, misled, punked, snookered, finessed, catfished, conned, ripped off, cheated, gaslit, hoodwinked, bamboozled, swindled, taken for a ride, scammed, deceived, which backs up what Temper said about them being 17 at a 21 and older club. But still, this guy's emotions are running high, and then makes his second mistake that was actually so egregious I stopped watching the stream and ended up making this video. So now this is another screenshot of the same guy replying to someone else defending Rain for the fact that these girls lied about their age to get into a 21 and older club, something that Rain thinks is impossible.
Drunk at 21 club, 21 plus club. By the way, it's all a lie that his lawyers have advised him to say to have plausible deniability. They are telling him to say it was a 21 plus club. They are telling him to say it was 17 and he wasn't aware of the age. Brother, let's pretend you are my friend. Let's pretend you are my friend and you have told me that you've now had a threesome with two 16-year-olds. Would you wait 2 years till it went public in order for you to say, I didn't know? Or would you constantly, and I mean constantly, reiterate the fact that you didn't know their age if you truly were innocent?
Well, according to your once great leader FaZe Banks, you guys only talked about this once and then never again.
And yeah, I mean, what else can you do? Like, we're on this call and the way it left off was, let's get to the bottom of it. And we just never followed up. I don't think we ever, I think that's the last, as sad as it is, last phone call that us four were on together.
So yeah, I'm sure if you guys kept asking him, he would have said he didn't know. Or if he did, we wouldn't be here and you would have kicked him out back then. And what do you mean his lawyers are telling him to say that? These idiots you're trying to use as evidence even acknowledge that these girls do this kind of thing. But just listen to what this retard says next.
You're shot, bro. It's very easy to tell a teenager apart from a 21-year-old. He knew she wasn't 21, just didn't investigate because she was dumb, clout-thirsty teen. Don't be so naive. Nah, some 16-year-olds look older. Mix that being with shit-faced drunk, you wouldn't know. Okay. Check his hard drives. Nobody mixes up a 16-year-old with a 21-year-old, but okay, whatever you say.
Imagine telling someone who's actually using their brain that they need to have their hard drives checked. Hey dummy, why would he make up the fact that it's a 21 and older club when he knows these girls can come forward at any moment and say that it isn't? This isn't some fucking random YouTuber. This girl's classmates remember what time she posted a sunrise picture. Lying about where you met these girls is not something his lawyers told him to do, unless he lied to his lawyers. And even then, just the way he was talking in his videos, you can tell that no lawyer was ever talked to, because unless these girls come out and say, yeah, we actually met him at a park, then there's just as much reason to believe Temper as there are these random classmates. But look, obviously what he did was wrong, but the only reason this is even going this far is because Temper didn't thank Rain for ruining his life. Like, all this guy does is show us more DMs of him talking to the same guy, being like, yeah, they were definitely this age when this happened, and it's like, dog, give it up. He's not going to jail regardless of how many people you DM. If he didn't meet them at the club, then where did he meet them at? I'm pretty sure all clubs are at minimum 18 plus before you can get in. So there's a double layer of lying they had to do to get into a 21 and older one. But until Rain Man can come up with a logical location for where Temper met these girls at, then I think we can chalk this one up to a unfortunate mistake. But yeah guys, this should be the second video today, depending on how fast I get the first one out. Until tomorrow, peace.